right, guys, today we're going to have a homework helper comparing numbers using greater than, less than, or equal to. So let's go ahead. This is part 1 because I have part 2 after this. It's a little bit more challenging. All right. First of all, I see that we're using word form. Notice that we are using the words greater than, less than, and equal to inside my spaces. All right, greater than, less than, and equal to. All right, let's take a look at the strategy. The strategy is right there. So let's look at what we need to do each time we come across something in which we're trying to compare some numbers. First of all, I want to count the numbers on each side. So I go over here and I see 1, 1, 2, 3. This has 3. My pen's not wanting to work. I have 3 over here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 over here. Now, more numbers will always be greater than less numbers. So this tells me that 328 is less, it's not under right, is less than 7,236. In this case, I didn't even need to go use the next strategy because more numbers will always be greater than less numbers. Let's look at the next one. 4,826 is blank, 1,309. Let's look at the next strategy we have, because in my first strategy, both of them have 4 numbers. All right, so when they both have 4 numbers, I need to go to strategy number 2. And this is to underline the first 2 numbers. This is my secret strategy. If you underline the first 2 numbers, you can actually tell which one is greater when you're looking at just those 2 numbers. So now I say, is 48 greater than or less than 13? And I can see that 48 is greater than 4,826 is greater than 1,309. Let's look at the next one. I'm going to go ahead and use my third strategy here. If the first 2 numbers are the same, so look, here's my first 2 numbers. First of all, I would find out they both had 4. Then I look at my next 2 numbers. All right, I have 50 and 50 because that tells me I have 5 in the thousands place and none in the hundreds. Then I go to the next number. I have 9 in the tens and 9 in the tens, so I'm comparing each value. The next one is 3 in the ones and 3 in the ones on this side as well. That tells me that these numbers are exactly equal. So I would say that 5,093 is equal to 5,093. All right? Now I want you to try. I want you to pause the video. I want you to use the strategies on the side and then come on back and we'll check it, okay? All right, welcome back. I hope you paused it and let's check your answers against my answers. I notice here that I have 4 on each side. So I am going to use the second strategy, which means I'm going to compare just the first 2 numbers. And I can see that 40 is going to be less than 49. What that really means is 4,098 is less than 4,908. All right, the next one, they both have 4 numbers. So I'm going to that second strategy, which means 63 and 63. Oh, I need to go to the next one. This has 7 in the tens. This has 7 in the tens. It must be equal, huh? Haha. Don't get tricked. Check the ones place as well. This is 6 and this is 2. 6 is greater than 2, which means that 6,376 is greater than 6,372. All right, the next one, I'm going to start with that first strategy. I have 4 numbers here, and I had 3 numbers here, and I know that 4 will always be greater than 3. So I know that 1,118 is greater than 188. Okay, we're going to be using the same strategy here, but this time we're using symbols. And just as a reminder, I always say that the big mouth eats the big numbers. And the small mouth eats the small numbers. So we're going to use the same strategy. I've got 4 numbers on both sides. So I see 70, 70, that looks the same. Go to the next one. I see a 9 and I see a 7. Which one has the greater number? The 9 in the tens place is the greater number, so I'm going to put the big mouth on the big number. All right, next one. I see 4 and I see 4. So I'm going to strategy 2, which means I underline the next, which means I underline the first 2 numbers, and I can see that 45 and 53. 53 is my bigger number. I like to put teeth on them sometimes. So I can tell that 4,526 is less than 5,309. The next one, I have 3 numbers, and then I have 4 numbers. And I know that the more numbers that you have is always greater than the smaller numbers. So I know that my greater value is over here. So 293 is less than 2,930. Let's have you try the next one. Go ahead, pause the video, you try it using those strategies, and come on back and we'll check it. Okay, here we go. Strategy number 1 was to put how many each side has, then compare those first 2 numbers, which are the same, and the next number and the next number, which is the same, and the last number and the last number. This was equal. I hope you got that too. All right, I see 4, and so I'm comparing the first 2 numbers. 86 is going to be larger, so greater than. I see 4 on either side. 82, 82. I'll check my next number. I have a 1 in the tens and an 8 in the tens. I know that 8 tens is greater than 1 10. So I hope yours matched mine. Okay, now I've got a little mind-boggling thing from you. I want you to see if you can find all the correct statements here. Circle them, okay? I'm going to let you try this on your own, and then we'll come back and check it. Pause the video. Okay, this was a tough one. Let's see if you could do this. All right, I see there's 4 on each side, so I am comparing using the same strategy. 22, 22, the 9 in the tens, the 3 in the tens. The 9 is greater, so this statement says 2,293 is less than. That is not true, because actually this is my greater number. Let's go down below. I see 4 numbers and I see 3 numbers. 4 numbers is always greater, so this one is actually correct. All right, I threw this one in to trick you. 12 plus 6, I know, is 18. And 21 take away 2 is 19. Is 18 greater than 19? Nope. Hope I didn't trick you there. Over here, I see both sides have 4. So I'm going to start with my 73, 73. I have a 6, I have a 6, I have a 5, I have a 5. They are equal. This is correct. The next one, they both have 3, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the first 2 numbers. I can see that 57 is my greater number, so this one is correct. I see there's 4 on both sides, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Would those numbers be equal? Absolutely not. All right. I'm going to go up here to the top. I see 73 and 69. 73 is greater. The next one, I see that there are 4 on either side, so I see 50 and 50 the same. So I'm going to compare the tens place. I have a 7 and a 0. 7 is greater than 0, so that one is correct. And our last one, 94 and 95. 94 is less than 95, so that one is correct as well. All right, great job. You are ready to stretch your brain now and try comparing numbers part 2. There's lots of challenges there. Good job.